Everyone was supposed to be liberated, but men were left behind. This was the promise of modern-day feminism. Equality for everyone. That is what it started with. However, most men have, in the meantime, lost their role, their purpose, and their place in society. With the liberation of women, men are now feeling that they have lost the reason to be needed in relationship, but also in society at large. And while women were told that they could have it all, men were told that they were the problem. Men were told to dim down their masculine energy, while women were praised when they would step into masculine energy. In this second episode of the 3-part series on why our current society is hurting men, we will explore how the liberation of women and the rise of feminism has been hurting modern man, and how it has unintentionally left modern man in the shadow of the rise of the woman. First of all, let's be very clear. The liberation of women and the celebration of the independence of women is still very needed, especially in many countries around the world. Women are not yet liberated, and we should keep promoting this. But this does not mean that we need to disbalance masculine and feminine energy and do men and their masculine energy injustice. Feminism has given women a much needed voice. If it wasn't for feminism, I as a woman would have not been able to speak up on any topic that I would be interested in, but especially not on men's mental health. The liberation of women gave women a voice, gave women a chance to speak up, and gave women a chance to create the life that they wish for themselves, but also contribute in a meaningful and very important manner, because we should not forget that also the women's energy and what women contribute to society is of importance. But what we see in our current day society is that the pendulum has swung too far. It has gone too far, with women being put on a pedestal and men being pushed in a corner, unable to voice their thoughts and their feelings. As women were told to rise, men were told to retreat. And as young women are taught to be more in their masculine energy to succeed in life, young men are told to suppress their masculine energy and to deny their masculine energy. We now live in a society where we expect men to be strong but soft at the same time, and to express their emotions but keep them bottled up because we do not want to see them weep or cry. The rules of the game changed so rapidly in our modern day society that no one knows where they stand. Men do not understand where they stand in regards to women, and women don't understand where they stand in regards to men. We're all confused about our positions in life and what is expected of us. And sadly, most likely, the shift that feminism has caused in our societal structure has caused this disbalance. And again, don't get me wrong, this is not an anti-feminist message, but this is a message to become conscious of the balance that we need to regain, of how important it is that men and women know where they stand with each other, respect each other, and understand each other, and know that both men and women have important and valuable contributions to dynamics such as relationships and society. Women are not supposed to compete with men, and men are not supposed to compete with women. It is ridiculous that in our day society, women are trying to be better than men. They're trying to be better at being men than men are, basically. The masculine and feminine are meant to work together. We are supposed to be in balance. We're two sides of one whole, and we need to regain this understanding. Now, before the rise of feminism, a man's purpose was very clear: support, provide, protect, be the structure and framework in marriage, in relationship, in society at large. And I don't mean to say that this is the only purpose of men, but this is what men are built for. Women are there to care, to love, to be nurturing. They're the softer side of the balance. The masculine is much needed to offer support. And we're denying the importance of masculine energy and the masculine framework that men can offer. But now, in our current day and age, we see these roles and characteristics as oppressive, as outdated, as toxic, controlling masculinity, which means that we are denying and shattering the masculine structure, the masculine framework, which is what we need to build things on in our society. And I'm not calling for male dominance, not at all. I think men and women, the masculine and feminine, are to be in perfect balance. Not women should be leading, not men should be leading, not women should be dominating, and men should not be dominating. However, we need to become conscious that young men have lost their way. Young men are no longer able to operate from the masculine framework that they have seen from their fathers and grandfathers. And this is mainly because our society no longer values true masculine energy, true masculine leadership, and true masculine structure. And this is the reason why many young men have lost their direction in life. And direction is the fuel of the masculine. And sadly, feminism has contributed to extinguishing the fuel of masculine energy. And it's not just a few men that are feeling lost. 70% of the global suicides are men. And when they research what the reason was of this man to commit suicide, it was feeling lost, despair, not having a purpose in life, not being appreciated or accepted for who you are as a man. And I've mentioned this before. There is a fantastic book that you should read about why purpose is so important. And if we don't have that as a human, we literally die. It's called Men's Search for Meaning. It is an amazing book, and you should check it out if you want to understand more about the importance of purpose in life. And many young men have lost that because they have lost their place in society. Men not committing to careers or to education. And it's not because men don't want to. It's not because men are lazy. It is because we have taken away the goal and the reason for men to take part in society. Men are not feeling needed anymore. And a lot of women are blatantly blurting this out on social media, saying they don't need a man, that women can do everything on their own, men are extra. Do you think that would make men want to date women or to put in the effort to be with a woman? Of course not. I would check out, I would choose for myself. Now, for some reason, and I don't know where it went wrong, gender got turned into a scoreboard. Women are competing with men. They're trying to outcompete men in relationships, in career. In general, women think that they need to be better than men. And women don't see that. It is not about trying to be better than men. The real challenge is to connect with men. But sadly, women are not told from a young age that you need to connect with men. They are taught to see men as competition. In school, in career, women are taught to compete with men. So it is no surprise that women take this into a relationship where you hear a lot of men say that women are competing. Women are constantly trying to be better than their partner. Women are trying to win arguments. Women are always trying to find the better solution or negate the solution that the men offered. And to be fair, society is also telling men to step aside because a man cannot speak up about this, or his attempt to stand up for himself will be seen as toxic masculinity and trying to control the woman. Now, this whole attraction game has gotten really confusing because a man is expected to pursue and lead a woman. He's expected to pay for a date. However, if he doesn't pursue, if he doesn't plan a date, he is weak. He is not masculine. However, we're failing to forget that men have been told to not lead because it's seen as patriarchal control. It is seen as toxic masculinity. This is also why men are no longer chivalrous. This is why men are no longer pursuing or approaching women. Now, this is only increasing the divide because women are growing frustrated that they need to be in their masculine energy because this is expected of them in career and now also in dating. So we need to understand that this is not natural for a woman. A woman wants to be in her feminine energy. And this is why she desires for a man to pursue her, to lead in the relationship. However, she has also been taught to take the lead. If things don't happen the way that she wants to, she needs to step in and take control. And this is where we now see women leading dating and relationship from their toxic masculinity. And men, on the other hand, would love to pursue a woman, would love to take out a woman on a date. But they're constantly being met with this competitive, aggressive, masculine energy of modern women, which women have learned in the workforce, in their career. But we don't need to look at this situation as if a man's purpose has been stolen by women, because it's not. We can both lead. Masculine energy is important and feminine energy is important as well. And they're both very strong forces. However, we just don't understand in our day and age the strength of true feminine energy. And I think that a lot of women are disconnected from their feminine energy. And this is why they lead from their masculine energy. This is why they're so controlling. And this is why they push, especially some young men, away from their masculine position. So yes, to some men, it does feel that women have taken up their space, have been taken their space in career, in society, in general. Even in relationship, you see that men are being pushed in a more feminine energy and the woman is more masculine. However, the solution is not to be resentful to either men or women. We need to understand that we need to redefine roles and we need to become aware that there's power in masculine energy and there's a time and place for women to be masculine, however, not in relationship with a man. And for men, we need to redefine what masculinity is. Masculinity is not passiveness. Masculinity is very active, it's grounded, and it's strong. It is being strong in your own center and your own core. Masculinity is not control or domination. It is clarity and it is calmness. And femininity is not submission. It's not weakness. Femininity is softness, and you can lead from softness. You can be incredibly strong from softness. So women, focus on leading from your softness. And men, focus on leading from your grounded, kind energy. Both are very important and both are sacred in connection. But we forgot about that. We're so focused in our day and age on masculine energy, on pursuit, on chasing, on getting the things that we want. And it is no surprise because all around us on social media, on internet, everywhere we see that we need to go out and get it. However, there's also so much power in trust and softness. And this is what we need to understand. For both men and women, you don't have to be forceful or controlling. So, my ladies and gentlemen, and everything else under the sun, stop competing for validation and start moving towards connection. When both sides decide to heal, both men and women, start focusing on healing to understand and stop trying to focus so much on competing and trying to win from the other person. Women's liberation is not meant to destroy men. However, we live in a system that is pushing us against each other. It is creating this divide between men and women. And we can choose to rise together and change this system. The system is something that we have all collectively allowed to form. So that means that we can also consciously choose together to restructure the system into something that is focused on connection, on respect, on compassion and kindness. So please make the choice to lead your life from compassion, from kindness, from understanding. You can make that choice today to treat another person with respect and with kindness and leave the ego at the door. Thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope that it was helpful. Give the video a like, leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel because it really helps me to reach a wider audience so that together we can meet each other again in compassion and in connection. If you want to support my work, you can find a couple of links in the pinned comment down below or in the video description. There's a few ways that you can support me, but one of the ways is to sign up for my mailing list for the book that I'm writing called The Shadow Side of Feminism, wherein I'm exploring if modern-day feminism has unintentionally cast a shadow side over modern men and dating, and what we can do together to rectify that and find each other again in balance. Now, this video was episode number 2 of a 3-part series about how modern society is hurting men. If you want to watch part number 1, you can find it in the video description down below, or you can watch part number 3 right here. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.